Stephen A. Smith confronted Jake Paul during a live post-fight interview after his brutal knockout defeat to Anthony Joshua, directly challenging Jake's decision-making. Smith questioned why Jake would step in so early against someone operating at such a world-class level, calling the move unnecessarily dangerous. Jake, however, stayed composed and firm, insisting he still has everything needed to continue on this journey: top-tier trainers, resources, and unwavering belief that this loss won't slow his boxing ambitions.
Nah, definitely I need a few more fights. I'm not taking him on in my next bout, but a couple more years of experience with the team I got. I'm surrounded by the best team in the world possible that money can afford. So I'm getting exponentially better.
Following Jake's clash with Joshua, Logan Paul addressed the waves of criticism online, saying most of those attacking his brother are simply lifelong haters who were always going to find something negative to say. Logan explained that when you compete on a massive stage, scrutiny comes with the territory. He added that nobody realistically expected Jake to beat a two-time Olympic-level fighter. Yet Jake's self-belief and courage made the effort incredible. Even with a fractured jaw, Jake was laughing, recording videos in the hospital, and staying upbeat, showing how much he loves competing. Logan believes that mindset, confronting fear and adversity head-on, is what keeps pushing Jake forward. For him, this wasn't a failure. It proved Jake's toughness and earned respect through heart instead of victory.
These are haters. Haters gonna hate. It's just the name of the game, you know. When you're operating at the high level that my brother and I are, the haters come with it. I mean, statistically speaking, part timer, I think the narrative's dead. I've been showing up every single Monday for the past month and a half. I've wrestled in 4 out of the 5 times I was there. I won every single match. So like everyone who's yapping can now shut their trap because the narrative's dead.
I mean, you brought the receipts. I think that the proof stands for itself. And you mentioned your brother. Jake went 6 rounds on Friday night with Anthony Joshua. I know how proud you are of him. You were in the hospital with him afterwards. You called him an absolute warrior and said on your Instagram that his broken jaw won't break his spirit. How did you think, and what did you think of how the fight went down?
So, from strictly a logical point of view, I actually think it went down exactly as it was supposed to. I'm not sure anyone really thought that Jake was going to beat Anthony Joshua, but you have to understand, being his brother and in his close circle, he has this conviction that makes you believe, and he has this ability to defy reality and morph it into his vision of how it'll transpire that makes you think he'll win. However, like this was a my opinion, this was a logical conclusion to the fight. The two-time Olympian broke the influencer boxer's jaw. Like okay, you know, we could have wrote it in a story and it would have made sense. That said, I think he did amazing. I'm incredibly proud of him. I think it was a net positive. I think the world can see now how tough Jake Paul is.
Hearn shared his perspective on Jake's performance, addressing those who claimed Jake was simply running. Hearn said many critics completely ignored the reality of the situation. Jake was never expected to win against a powerhouse like Anthony Joshua. His main mission quickly became survival. According to Hearn, the real question was how long Jake could endure inside the ring, and he surprised many by lasting the full 6 rounds. People doubted he'd even make it past the opening moments, yet he absorbed punishment and kept pushing forward. Hearn emphasized that although Jake wasn't competitive in the usual sense, staying in there against a peak heavyweight champion is an accomplishment on its own. Surviving that environment showed mental toughness, durability, and serious pressure handling ability.
Well, Jake was running and Jake was hold. But listen, I mean, at the end of the day, Jake had one job, and that was to try and survive. I mean, he was never ever going to win the fight, ever. And if you would have said to me, do I think he'll go 6 rounds? I would have said absolutely not. I mean, I felt that it would take AJ a couple of rounds to get hold of him, because I knew Jake can move a bit and he'd be moving off the back foot and he'd be holding. But it was the way that he did it, I think, was actually quite impressive. Like, not that particular part, but the way that he would, the way that he was strong in the clinch. He wouldn't let AJ get his shots off in the clinch. He made him miss a few times. And obviously AJ's been out of the ring for a while. But to be honest, I think the most fascinating thing of the whole night in terms of the fight was how he didn't get flatlined by that right hand. I mean, I said going into the fight, it's probably going to take AJ a few rounds to get hold of him. And I also said, as soon as he lands clean, the fight's over, right? He landed a few before, But the first that he landed really clean was the final shot. But, you know, he never flatlined Jake. I mean, he did break his jaw in 2 places, which is a disaster. But there are a lot of heavyweights that would have been out cold from that right hand. I mean, one of them was Francis Ngannou in a pretty similar shot, really. Do you know what I mean? So I actually give Jake unbelievable credit for doing it in the first place, but his performance as well. I mean, I stand by the fact that I think he's just a decent cruiserweight, but like he did go in with Anthony Joshua, and look, the world is full of criticism and opinions and negativity. Who else is doing what he's doing at what is he, late 20s? I mean, quite phenomenal. I mean, the guy's a complete madman. I'm watching him come out to that ring walk, and he's just an incredible.
Stephen A. Smith doubled down on his stance, saying Jake Paul can't hide behind his YouTuber identity. While taking fights against elite professionals like Joshua, Smith explained that if Jake still wants to be viewed primarily as an internet entertainer, then he shouldn't be stepping into the ring with top-tier boxers. In Smith's eyes, if you want to fight at that level, you must fully embrace the responsibilities of a professional fighter and leave excuses behind.
Professional boxing trainers for years. He takes the sport very seriously.
Thank you. So let me ask you, that's the question I have, because great kid, great businessman, by the way, amazing. And I know how like he does all this, the character and the persona. We keep saying that he doesn't want to be a boxer. He's not a boxer, but then
Jake Paul is a boxer.
yeah, exactly.
That's my point.
Exactly. He's a boxer.
He can fight. He can fight. I respect it. So go in there against fighters. You should be climbing the ladder towards those other fighters and taking the sport seriously to the point where you're fighting.
Actor Chisora refused to hand Jake Paul much credit after the fight, rejecting the idea that merely entering the ring automatically equals courage. He dismissed the praise from figures like Chris Eubank Jr., who argued Jake deserved respect for lasting 6 rounds. Chisora stated Jake spent large portions avoiding exchanges, falling, clinching, and throwing very few meaningful punches. To him, real bravery isn't showing up for a huge paycheck. It's risking your life for a greater purpose, like serving your country. While he admits Jake committed to the event, Chisora doesn't believe simply staying upright for 6 rounds earns him admiration. He also criticized Jake for converting the loss into social media content, rather than displaying genuine warrior spirit.
You're fighting someone who you're supposed to have, it's not supposed to look competitive, he's not supposed to hit you, he's not supposed to go more than 3 rounds, but at the same time, you need to know how to control the pressure. I think AJ's demeanor in the build-up was someone who was like, you know what, everyone's saying these things, but this is how I see it. Yeah, I rate him, he can box a bit. He did say in an interview with Steve Bunce that like when he was talking certain things, there's a part of me that wants to punch him in his face, but I'm just going to chill. And I feel like that's how he handled the immense pressure.
The last time we saw AJ fuming like this, like when he actually tried to do something, was with Dylan. So we should not judge him when he says something like this, because when he don't say nothing, we say, oh, why is he not saying anything back? Yeah. And when he says something, we're like, oh,